Glampers, welcome back to the channel. Today on our slide with the awning, I'm going to install an Awnings slide topper, and this is going to be the hardest one because we do have two awnings. I have to verify, make sure we have space for those awnings. So the table behind me, you can see, has all of our parts on it. I'm going to get started by putting together the actual awning tube itself. So let's go. All right, so put this tube together. I got to remove two screws, pull out these two sections right here, get them to align, reinstall them, and then put this on to make one long tube, because it is 11'9", so we're going with a 12 foot awning. So let me get started. Okay, so you get a line here. That's where we know that that is for the middle of the pole. Then we'll put this screw right back in. Right there. Now with the provided screws, I just fill up all the other screw holes all the way around. All right, so now we got our tube together, and now we are going to put our awning on the tube and roll it up. They give us two of these cords, one light one, the one dark one. I think the light one goes in here. I'm going to double check, and the dark one goes up on top. So let's get that going. So we put the awning on. You want the seam side down, the smooth side up. So I put it on the forward side of the tube. We're going to take the gray, or the lighter of the two cords, and just run it into the awning. And now we're going to move our awning to the end, and we're going to slide the cord with the awning into the actual tube itself. All right, so now we're going to pick this up. I'm going to wind it up counterclockwise. Ready? We're just going to wind it towards us. All right, that's all for that right now. Now I'm going to install brackets to the actual slide itself. I would suggest putting butyl tape on here, because this will also help hold your bracket where you want it. So I'm going to get both of them put up, then I'm going to come back down, get all my screws, and screw them in. One thing, do not put them in the frame of your slide. There's nothing back there. So I'm putting it in the wall, and I do have room for this to fit. So this is the part I don't like, putting holes in my camper, but it's something that has to be done. So I had to put my awning out a little just to get these other screws in, so you may have to consider that. All right, so now the instructions ask to go ahead and put the awning tube up while the slide out's in. I'm going to put my track on top that the awning will go into. And I'm going to measure 4 inches above my slide. I'm measuring from the top of the actual slide frame. I'm going to put them up with the level, so I guarantee they're level. So before we attach that to the top slide there, I gotta put some pinholes into the rods that are holding the tube so I can put the screws in. I don't know why they're self-cutting, but it says to drill holes, so I'm gonna just put some small ones so I don't put too big a one in. So we actually needed to move the awning towards the front just like a 1/4 of an inch. So I had to unravel it. So that's why it looks like it does right here. But that's no problem because once we put it in the track, we're gonna put the slide out and then we're gonna pop the pins and we should be good to go. All right, so we just pulled the slide out. So now all we gotta do is get the retention pins. There's one on each side. They're little silver pins. And when we pull that will spring load that tube and it'll pull that awning nice and tight. And then we're gonna run the slide in and out a couple times to make sure we're good. We've got 2 more screws to put in those top tracks to hold that awning from moving side to side and we'll be done. All right, so we got the cotter pins out. Now you can see it's tight. It is covering the whole slide. We're gonna run the slide in and out twice and it'll help make sure that awning is in the right place. We're having a little issue when it rolls back up, the tube stops spinning. And on the troubleshooting part, the fabric sags or is loose. It says check tension on spring, make sure the end caps are properly secured, which we have. Make sure the fabric is secured in the proper locations of the unit or that the fabric is square on the unit to roll the tube. So I'm pretty sure it's square. It looks square. I do have to put some screws in the top and... Okay, so we've come back to the slide awning. We had 2 issues. One was my fault. The other one is something from the factory. The first thing was the 2 brackets that go on the slide that hold the tube. So the screws weren't long enough because I put butyl tape behind the brackets and it just put them too far away from the actual slide for the screws to bite into it. So I went and bought longer screws, worked fine. The second thing is the roller stops rolling when we get about 6 to 8 inches from the slide being all the way in. That keeps the awning loose. So we contacted the company and they gave us a way to fix it. It's not that difficult, but it's going to take 2 of us to do it. So here we go. All right, so the first thing I've already removed in the sail slide, which is the track on the top, there's 2 screws on the end that hold the awning from going side to side. I've already removed those. We have to take out the black polycord. Then when we get the black polycord out, we gotta roll the tube towards the camper 5 or 6 times. Put the pins back in, reinstall the awning to that track, put the screws back in, pull the pins, and it should tighten up. So. Just go very slowly. floor.
Well, it's still moving, so. Still got tension. Very good.
So that solved the problem, just taking it out of the track, rewinding the spring in the tube, setting the pins, put it back in, good to go. Yeah, so we're gonna see how this works, and we may get 2 more for the other side later. This was the hardest one. We did this one first because of the 2 awnings on the camper. I knew this would be the hardest one to install. So this portion of what we did, we wanted to show you guys that I've never done anything like this before, but it's that easy. Anybody can do this. You guys can do this and save yourselves a ton of money. Just take your time and be methodical.
Good job.
So there you have it. That is an Awnings awning. They'll be in our Amazon store. Literally it would have only taken an hour to install one awning had we not been videotaping. So it really wasn't difficult. So there you have it. Happy glamping.